Hi everyone, my name's Molly and this is Francis, and we're here from GHD's team in Melbourne to talk about some of our experiences with digital engagement and communication. So just a few kind of stats to start us off. I'll just move that up a little bit. So just to frame the conversation, we've got a few statistics here, and some of these are pretty incredible. So the average person in the world now spends 6 hours and 42 minutes a day online. And 57% of the world's population uses the internet, so 4.4 billion people are online. And as well, 52% of those people use their mobile device to access the internet. One of the other interesting tips that I found when I was looking at some of these stats online was that 300%, people are 300% more likely to watch a live video compared to one that's pre-recorded. And that's kind of telling us where things are going in terms of live experiences and interactivity. And as well, 34% of Australians who use the internet believe that their data is being misused online. So there's a lot of mistrust and concern around data and privacy nowadays. And just some top trends for 2019 as well. So in the wake of a lot of data breaches and scandals and fake news and all of that, people are really concerned about rebuilding some trust online, and they're concerned about their data. As well, there's a movement towards participation. So as I mentioned, with live videos, niche audiences, and interactive web experiences, people really expect a two-way experience online nowadays rather than going on and just reading some content. As well, there's also a movement towards democratizing data. So organizations, governments putting out their data and sharing it with people to help solve problems collectively, and we're seeing a lot more of that. As well as local targeting, so hyper-local social media. For example, bit creepy, but the other day I was chatting with a friend at work about my Nike running shoes that I had newly bought, and then I got an ad for Nikes the next day on my Instagram, which was a little bit creepy, so I think my phone might be listening to me. So those are just some of the key trends for 2019, and I think while all of this is cool and exciting, there's so many digital tools that we can use, but also some things that we need to keep in mind as we do so. And that's really what we're going to go through today. So Francis, did you want to step in?
So I think the stats that Molly's just shared really do demonstrate that our communities, our stakeholders, they're talking to each other, they're online, it's a space where they are, and they really expect organisations, government to be in that space as well. And we're often asked to develop a digital strategy, and for us, I guess, we really see engaging digitally as a way to support a bigger engagement strategy. So really thinking about what is the role of your engagement program, who are your stakeholders, who are your communities, and what role they can play in the decision or the decision-making process. And once you've got those elements mapped out, that's when you can really start to see what kind of digital engagement is right for your project and what kind of tools are going to be most effective for you. So when it comes to tools, there is an amazing range out there today. I don't think there's ever been a better time to actually be engaging with communities digitally. There isn't necessarily a formula to pick the right tool, but typically as the scope of your public participation increases, the tools become much more interactive, supporting those more complex two-way conversations. And it's also important to keep in mind that a lot of more traditional face-to-face engagement tools like workshops can be replicated online as well. So if we move sort of from the left-hand screen to the right, sort of increasing level of public participation, if your engagement program focuses primarily on communicating information to people about something that's going to affect them or to encourage some quite simple behaviour change, digital tools like social media, videos, interactive surveys, could be what kind of water user are you, those kind of tools are going to be the most effective. And once you start moving into sort of increasing levels of participation, so coming over to the right-hand side of the screen there, your tools are going to become a lot more complex and a lot more interactive. So things like polls, online ideas boards, discussion forums, interactive mapping. There's some really great interactive mapping tools out there where people can pin things on map to be contributing to conversations. And there's also a lot of really exciting things happening in the 3D space as well. So sharing 3D models with communities, modelling scenarios, looking at different opportunities and challenges with different decisions that are being made. So I think in picking the tool, it's really about knowing your purpose of engagement and looking at that as your starting point. And I'll pass on to Molly now for some words of advice on tools.
Awesome. Thanks, Francis. So one of the key things that we often experience with our clients who want to use digital tools for engagement is that they get really excited about using a cool new digital tool and they forget about the purpose of the engagement. So one of our key sort of lessons learned is just not letting that happen and really keeping that purpose in mind at all times, despite the exciting and new fancy tool. And one of the examples that we've worked with, and I'll just play this. So this is an example of a quite exciting tool that we got the opportunity to create together with one of our clients, Northeast Link, which is a